I could not believe my eyes when I was driving in today. There were snowflakes banging on my windshield. Just a shocker. I thought all this crappy weather was behind us, but it looks like we're not out of the woods yet. Hopefully, though, it will warm up because I am ready for some nice weather. Tomorrow is D-Day. I talked about it yesterday. I am starting my diet tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole food diet yet. That one sounds pretty good. I think I can get on board with that one, Chastity, because it allows me to eat things like potatoes and rice and, then, of course, steaks and chicken, just whole foods. It's easy diet.
Oh, yeah.
Just something real simple to remember. I don't have to go do any special shopping. Just, keep it simple, no processed foods. But I did have a couple of questions about the whole food diet. So I think, according to the way I understand this, I can still eat pizza as long as I eat the whole thing. Right?
No, I don't know.
Pizza's off the list. Well, I am.
I'm got chicken.
I'm going to stick with this diet.
No cheese.
Well, and I guess bread is out of the question, right? Because bread would be kind of a processed food.
Yes.
So I'm going to find out if bread is part of the whole food diet because I do love bread. I got to find out if would butter be part of the whole food diet? Is that processed?
Well, I mean, you can make it at home and like just a few ingredients.
Like
and
natural butter?
Way better. And the same with bread. So like easy
That's what I'm
peasy,
thinking. So if I can keep it simple and it qualifies the whole food, that stays in the diet. But I'm excited about this. So tomorrow, I can't start tonight, folks, because I'm going to my buddy Blaine, his fiancée Paige invited us to the Lady Bulldogs game out in Athens. We're going to go watch a game. We're going to go eat some hamburgers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go out big tonight.
The concessions food.
Yeah, I'm going to go out big. Yeah, I'm going to destroy some food tonight. Then tomorrow I start the diet. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, folks, I'm probably $183. I'm 183 pounds of sweet love and fun. But there's a little bit too much of me. So my target would be, say, 170. 168. So I'm going to do this for a week. I'm going to stick to the whole food diet until Friday of next week, and then I'll check back in and we'll see where I'm at. What's a reasonable amount of weight to lose in a week, Chastity? Would 12 pounds be too much in a week? That'd be obscene?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, even just, a pound or two, or if you notice a little off your waistline.
Yeah.
Or, just if you feel better. That's important.
I know we talked about you feel better, but I also want to see numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so when I step on that scale, I want to see that number disintegrating. So I'm hoping by next Friday, I'm in the 170s. Like even a 179, that'll be psychologically.
Yes, and stay consistent, and you'll see those numbers.
Stay consistent with the diet.
Absolutely.
So, don't eat the whole pizza. Whole pizza is not part of the Whole Foods diet.
Right.
I will. I'll be disciplined. I'll stay consistent.
There
And I do work out. I'm pretty active, but I just got to clean up. I just got to clean up the diet a little bit. So let's see how this works. I'm excited about that. We have a great show in store. Michelle Dickens, she is the executive director of SANE. They are a fantastic institution that helps the victims of sexual assault. Yes. She'll be our first guest. Doug Collins, former congressman. He is now the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. He'll be calling in. And then in the second hour, a friend of mine, Russ Tanner, former collegiate athlete. He was the center for the Georgia Bulldogs football team. He's also a businessman, family man. So we're looking forward to having a good visit with Russ Tanner. A couple little funny notes that I conjured up. I put effort into this, Chastity, so I want to be sure that our listeners are entertained. And remember, folks, I am not a journalist. This is not newscasting. This is just me sharing a story and then giving my amateur opinion of what I think just took place. So take it for what it is. But this one just cracks me up. Bernie Sanders, you know what Bernie Sanders is, the socialist/communist wannabe. So Bernie Sanders, he goes around the country and advocates for socialism, how evil capitalism is, how bad the Republican Party, how bad conservatism is, advocates for countries like Cuba and whatnot, saying that they're the model of success, even though he cannot point to any examples of success where socialism or communism has really flourished. But so he loves preaching this. I think he's full of crap, and he knows it. And the reason I say that is if you go back and look at history, he used to admonish millionaires for being millionaires. Then he became a millionaire, so he changed it to admonish billionaires, right? So once he joined that group. So folks, don't be fooled. Folks like Bernie Sanders at AOC, they are part of the program, right? They are just picking a lane to run in, but they want to take advantage of capitalism. They love it. They're huge fans of capitalism. And proof of that is that his campaign in 2025 spent over $550,000 on private jets.
Wow.
I mean, is there any
insane.
bigger example of hypocrisy than that? So this is part of they call it their Fight Oligarchy Tour, where he travels around with AOC. You know, she's the other dingbat that's all about, communism and socialism and how bad capitalism is. So they fly around the country. She joins them quite often on these private jets. And they say, hey, there's no other way to do it. You know, we got to get out there and speak to the masses. You know, we have thousands of people we have to get to every year, and they got to hear from us. Well, of course there's a way you can do it without flying on a private jet. They actually had admonished people for flying private jets because of the carbon footprint that it created.
The climate change.
Yeah, the climate change initiative. So if they were so adamant about private jets, why aren't they flying commercial or taking a bus or what other modes of transportation? Take a train. I don't care. But what it just tells you, and you know what? I almost don't even blame them because, like I said, this is a game they're playing. They're getting rich. Bernie's got plenty of money. AOC's got plenty of money. They're loaded. They want you to live by the most humble means. They want you to use public transportation. And they want to make you feel like a victim. And so the real sad part in this are the people who vote for them that buy into this crap. That's the real stunners. The people that think that they are truly living by what they preach, and they're not. They do not practice what they preach.
Not at all.
It's this is for you, but we're going to operate differently.
Yes.
I don't know. It's a stunner to me that they're still able to pull on this charade this late in the game, that people are still buying into their crap. And I guess the question would be for any of their constituents, whether it's for the senator in Vermont or for AOC in her borough of New York, where she's a congresswoman, have their constituents benefited? Has life gotten better for them?
Sure.
Electing them and living under their, whatever their influence is, whatever influence they have. I think it's just bizarre. It is the greatest. It's the greatest mockery of
a sham.
Yeah, it's the greatest one I've ever seen. I that one stuns me. This one's kind of sad. There was a New York police shooting. They had a body cam video where two officers answered a 911 emergency call, and they go up and they show up at the door, and the body cam is really clear what took place on this one. They knock on the door. You can even hear the officers conversing beforehand. One says, hey, man, I've learned I'm not going to stand close to the door. I've watched too many videos. Yeah. So they're already ready for something going on. They knock on the door. Lady answers, seems to be relatively calm, invites them into the house. They go in, and almost right out of the gates, a young man charges them with a knife, and they start there's an altercation. The woman tries to stop the young man. They slam the door on him, and then the door opens, and the kid just keeps coming. And so one of the officers, after a myriad of verbal commands, opens fire and shoots the kid. I think he's going to live. He's in critical condition. But what I find bizarre about this is, of course, Mom Downey comes out and says, hey, he should not be charged with a crime because he was battling some mental health issues, which I disagree with that. We can't keep hiding under the guise of mental health to avoid people getting criminal charges. What he did is a crime. Does he have mental health issues? I'm sure he does, and he needs to get treatment in addition to that. But he also he almost killed some people.
Absolutely.
But then the family of the 21-year-old is now furious with NYPD, saying, hey, you shouldn't have sent cops out. We didn't. You escalated this. It was your fault. Now, I saw the body cam video. They didn't escalate anything. They just walked in. They're answering a 911 call where there's an emergency taking place, assuming that people are in imminent danger. So they come in relatively calm. They didn't have their weapons drawn first. They were just coming in, hey, what's going on? Next thing you know, a dude's charging him with a knife. They shoot him, and now the family's mad at the police department. So I'm wondering, what were you expecting when you called 911? Did you want them to send a mental health, mental therapist? I mean, I don't know what they're asking for. Were they asking to send paramedics? Let's play that scenario out. Let's say they asked for just paramedics, and paramedics show up, and the guy comes up with a knife, and he starts stabbing people. Paramedics aren't armed with weapons.
Sure.
Maybe he takes one of their lives. Maybe he kills a family member, right? Or were they asking him to use a tase gun, right? Use non-lethal force. Well, what if it doesn't work? What if they hit him with the tase gun? He comes with the knife, stabs the lady, stabs one of the officers, injures somebody, kills somebody.
Well,
so
if the shoe was on the other foot and the guy would have charged AOC's, office, then, they would be all on the phone wanting
that's
protection,
right. Or think of this,
security.
Chassie. Let's say they sent an ambulance and two paramedics showed up and the guy charged to start stabbing people. They said, why wouldn't you have sent the police? Why did you send two paramedics?
Right.
We're dealing with the guy that's got a mental health
right.
issue. But the reason I'm sharing this story is this is just shockingly similar to a dear friend of mine. His son is a police officer. I'm not going to say where he is, but his son's a police officer and had almost an identical situation take place. Thank God my buddy's son is safe. But when I saw the police video of this, the body video, it was shocking how similar it was to the story that just took place. And look, there's people who have mental health issues. They need help. But at the end of the day, we need to be sure that our people are safe, law enforcement are included. This is the Marc McMain Show. One more little quick tidbit that I had here. Chastity, this one's a little more lighter-hearted. Well, kind of lighter-hearted. There's a study that's been done that's saying that in about the next 10 years in the United States, approximately 40% of adults will reach the level of obesity. That's nearly half of our country.
Wow.
At the pace that we're going, will become obese. Now, I don't know what obese means. There's a standard for that. I guess it depends upon your age, your height, your body frame, and how many pounds you're above. I don't know what that number is. I would guess to say that obese means that you are 75 to 100 pounds over where you should be. I would say that's probably obese, somewhere in that ballpark. I have friends who battle weight issues. It's a struggle. I get it. Everybody's body's different. But this is a shocking statistic that we have to pay attention to. And if you've noticed my trend when I've had these incredible leaders of schools that have come on our show, whether it's been on the school board, whether it's been candidates running for the state school superintendent, or whether it's been teachers and principals that we've had, I'm constantly discussing what steps are being taken at the elementary school level, middle school level, high school level, to be sure that there's a proper diet in place and that there's a regiment exercise plan in place. And quite often when it comes to the dietary side of the equation, they reflect back to the national standard that there's federal laws that, I guess, regulate what can be given as far as food's concerned to kids. And that's fine as long as it's healthy. What I'm talking about is we need to initiate a program in schools that is mandatory, hardcore, legitimate exercise programs. I'm not talking kicking a ball against a wall for 20 minutes. That's fun. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about 45 minutes to maybe an hour of daily exercise where heart rates are elevated, where kids are working out hard, they sweat, they burn calories. It should be mandatory. And then we place the same emphasis on being sure they understand how to eat properly, because, folks, these statistics I'm sharing with you are killing our country.
Yes.
Half of our country will be obese in the next 10 years. If you're not stunned with that, hey, what good is it if we're educating our kids and they're brilliant in math and science if they're so unhealthy that they're going to die early?
Absolutely.
What good is it?
So scary. And so much processed food, sugar, it's terrible for our bodies. So
it is.
The more we can be mindful what goes into our body, the better we're going to feel, and especially our children.
Work has to be done here, folks.
Yes.
These are shocking, shocking numbers. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, we'll be visiting with Michelle Dickens of Sane. Stick around.
Affordable housing is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2- and 3-bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
These days, many think that truth is relative. You have your truth and I have mine. Speaking your truth means staying true to who you are. It may be how you feel, what you believe, or how you identify. Truth, by definition, means conforming to a fact. Two contradictory ideas can't each both be true. One may be true, one wrong. Or both may be wrong, but they can't both be true. To say so is logical nonsense. So with all the fake news and opinions flying around, how can we know what's true? At Jesus' trial, Pilate cynically asked, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He's not claiming to be one truth, but the truth. Soon after Jesus spoke these words, he rose from the dead. That's enough to convince me that Jesus tells the truth. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
To subscribe to devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
Anytime is a great time to make memories at the Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Lilburn. Close to home and fun for the entire family. Not only will you see wildlife up close, like bears, otters, bison, and more, you can enjoy a picnic lunch. There's gem mining and so much more. The Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary, 4525 Highway 78 in Lilburn. Make plans to visit soon. To learn more, go to yellowriverwildlifesanctuary.com.
Welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest, Michelle Dickens. She is the executive director of SANE. Michelle, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Michelle, do us a little favor. Tell our listeners about SANE, what your objective is there, and maybe how you got involved in this entity.
Sure. SANE stands for Sexual Assault Nurse Examiners. We are a program that was started and incorporated back in 1995 when some stakeholders in the Athens and Oconee community thought that sexual assault cases could be investigated and prosecuted more effectively if there was a forensic medical component like they had out in the Midwest. Some volunteers, a group of nurses, formed together to create the organization, and it's grown since 1995 into a full child advocacy and sexual assault center that now serves 10 counties in northeast Georgia.
Well, it's very good work that you're doing. I was fortunate enough to attend a lunch event that you guys had just a couple of months ago, and that was really my first opportunity to learn more about what y'all did. And I think it's interesting because you take a very special approach to being sure that these young women that have gone through these traumatic experiences are truly cared for. Because I guess prior to this existing, there may have not been a real, what's the word, an organized path, that maybe they were just kind of put through the normal procedures that anybody would have been put through that went through an event. Whereas you guys tend to take a very special level of care with these women as they're going through something so horrible.
We do. I think one of the things that we really try to do is take a holistic and collaborative approach, working with our community partners in law enforcement and the schools, Department of Family and Children's Services, and prosecution, to really make a one-stop shop for being able to get trauma-focused care that meets the needs of the criminal justice system as well as the needs of the survivor.
So that means that if there's an event that takes place, then you guys are going to actually handle most of the procedural stuff as it pertains to the investigation side, or maybe the collecting of data side, so that when the law enforcement comes in, that they're not having to do some of those procedures. Is that right? Is that kind of how it works, or do they still have to go in and do their investigations as well?
They still have to go in and do their investigations, but we serve across the lifespan. So let's say that we have a child that has an allegation of maybe someone touching them or a sexual assault or historical sexual abuse. They may come to our attention through law enforcement or through DFACS, and evidence collection from their bodies for forensic medicine is conducted at our office. A developmentally appropriate interview of the child will be conducted at our office, and those investigating agencies can be there to observe that interview and receive any kind of evidence that needs to go to the crime lab, so that we're not speaking to kids, multiple times before their case actually makes it into court. So they still have the process and the procedure that they have to go through, but we're trying to streamline it so that families and victims are not overtaxed in the process.
That makes sense. Yeah, and just think of how traumatic that has to be to begin with, to initiate. And can somebody come to you if there's a survivor or somebody that's gone through something traumatic like this? Can they initiate and come directly to you all and say, "Hey, I've experienced something," or do they have to go through law enforcement first to get to you?
No, they can come to us directly. Families can reach out to us directly if they're concerned that something may have happened to their child. Adults can reach out to us if something has happened to them and seek care on their own. For adults who have experienced a sexual assault in the state of Georgia, if you're 18 or older, you have the right to a free forensic medical examination, whether you choose to turn that evidence over to law enforcement and have it tested or go through a prosecution or not. So they can reach out and have that same level of care without having to go through law enforcement to get to us first.
Yeah, it's a much more palatable first step, I would imagine, for some folks. That's That's and let me ask you this. I know that you're in Athens, Clarke County, but you have several counties across Northeast Georgia. Where else are you located so that if somebody is experiencing this and they don't have the means to get to Athens, Clarke County, where else can they come and find maybe a location or a physical building that they can actually go and visit?
So we have 3 locations. We are located over at the Eastside Police Department in Athens, Clarke County. We also have a full Child Advocacy Center and Sexual Assault Center in Bogart, Georgia, 123 Main Street. And then we also have a location down in Morgan County. We're over off Mission Road in the fire station there. We're also getting ready to move into a new location down in Morgan County from the fire station. So, but those are the 3 locations. You can also present to your hospital, and they will call us if they're within our service area to help coordinate services.
And how would somebody reach out? Do you have a website that they would go to learn more? Maybe if they wanted to just initially contact you via email versus a phone call just to begin the process, is that how you recommend, or do you want that phone call initially?
We would love to have the phone call. However, we do have a website. It's saneinc.org, SANEINC.org, and there's plenty of information in that website for you to be able to seek services. We also have a phone number. It's 706-613-3808, and then there'll be prompts there so that a person can reach our hotline or the on-call nurse. So we can be reached either of those 2 ways. And then you can reach out to us on our social medias, although someone is not necessarily monitoring that at all times. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that hotline number or going through one of our community partners is going to get you that service no matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, I know it's a very difficult subject, and it's something that I'm so thankful that it exists, because it's just an incredibly traumatic experience for those that are going through this. This is Michelle Dickens. She is the executive director of SANE. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Let's change tunes just for a second, Michelle. Something fun's coming up. I know you have your upcoming spring fashion show. Tell us about this, what the goal of the fashion show is, and the moving parts of this event.
This is one of my favorite events that we do. A lot of what we do is based on fundraising. There's very little fixed income or financial support for us, and so we have to go out and find that through grant funds and fundraisers. Our fashion show is a fundraiser that is based on a New York Times article that I read a few years ago that focused on the victim blaming question. There was a fashion show out of New York called the What They Were Wearing fashion show that focused on what women were wearing at the time of their assault. And I read the article, and I had been looking at different fundraising models and crowdfunding, and I really thought that I could make this into a solid fundraiser. And so with the help of my board of directors and my staff, and a lot of our community partners, we put together a fashion show where our community partners took to the runway. They crowdfund from January up until the show in March. Our show this year is on March 26th. People get really animated on, I think, our social medias. The banter is quite entertaining. All of our models are raising awareness and raising funds for sexual assault survivors in our community. The show's name has a double denotation. We're going to be showcasing the latest spring fashions, but we also want to take a look at the fact that questions like what they were wearing or anything else about a victim's comportment are never appropriate, and the actions of an assailant are really the choice of the assailant and never what the victim was doing. I'm so excited this year. We have not just one, but 4 elected sheriffs and 1 district attorney in our show this year walking as models.
I think I know some of these. So let me take a guess. Is Randy McGinley one of our studs? Is he going to be strolling the aisle?
He will definitely be walking down the runway, and his beautiful wife is our MC this year, as she has been all
our very own Charlie Morgan.
Show.
She's our station manager. She's a rock star, so she'll be MC. You couldn't have picked a better MC. Yeah, awesome. She's going to be fantastic. So tell me about the sheriffs. I know James Hale does this. So Sheriff Hale, I've heard. I didn't get to see him, but I heard that he owns the stage when he's up there doing it.
He very much owns the stage. He's very proud of his crown, as he's referred to as King James in the fashion show. He was our overall top earner last year, And I think he'll meet some competition from some of those other fellow sheriffs this year. We have Sheriff Judd Smith of Barrow County.
Yeah, Judd's coming in, all right.
We have Sheriff Donnie Harrison in Greene County.
Yep, I know Sheriff Donnie Harrison.
And the new sheriff in Morgan County, Tyler Hooks, is also joining us.
That's a great lineup. That's a lot of fun.
Exciting.
Yeah, that is. And what are they wearing? Are they doing so? Is it like just current trendy men's fashions, or do they get to pick what they're going to wear? How do they get the outfits?
Yeah, so we do have both men and women in the fashion show, but since we've been talking about some of our celebrity male models, they get partnered with a local retailer, and those retailers usually outfit them for 2 to 3 outfits that they will wear on the runway. They'll be the most current fashions. And then we also partner with Buckle Jeans, because Denim Day is a big part of sexual assault awareness during the month of April. So our show is on March 26th, and it's sort of our prelude to Sexual Assault Awareness and Child Abuse Awareness Month in April. And Denim Day, having Buckle as our Denim Day sponsor is really big. You'll see all of the models on the runway in a denim look at the end of the show.
That is just a fantastic event, and yeah, I'm so excited for you guys. If the public wants to either come and watch the show or at least contribute, are there opportunities for that?
Yes, there are absolutely opportunities. So if you go to that website that I mentioned before, sameinc.org, and click on events, our fashion show is featured for this year. There's a landing page there where you can view and vote for the current models, and where you can also purchase tickets. We have a really great show put together for general admission and for our VIPs this year. Something new that we're introducing is our VIPs will actually get early entry and to have a cocktail party during the dress rehearsal this year, which I find probably to be the most entertaining of the show.
What a great event. That's fantastic. Any odds-on favorite this year who you think you might win? Is Sheriff Hale going to come up swinging again? Because Judd Smith, I could see Judd coming and owning that stage as well.
Absolutely.
So I will tell you there's a lot of backstage banter even leading up to the show. I've seen some text message threads and some plans in the works for percentage nights. I would go to our Facebook page and our event page to sort of follow along to see if there's any precursor events leading up to the show that might give you a preview of who our front runners are.
That's just classic. I love it. Michelle, this is going to be a lot of fun. I want to give you the last 30 seconds to just, if there's a message you have for somebody out there that has gone through something traumatic but maybe hasn't had the confidence to reach out or step up or say something, what would you like to say to that person? And one more time, reiterate how they would contact you.
I would say reach out to us, directly at 706-613-3808, or go to, a trusted community partner like law enforcement, your schools, or your hospitals to reach out to us and let them know that something has happened. It doesn't matter if it happened yesterday or if it happened years ago. You're going to have help where we're going to be able to provide for you medical support, a safe place to be able to tell your story, advocacy and therapeutic support as well, and none of it will be of cost to you. It's all free of charge.
Michelle, I greatly appreciate what you and your team, the entire entity, is doing. This is very important work. Well,
thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, and we look forward to seeing you at the show in March.
Yeah, show's going to be fun. Definitely want to go to that. All right. That's Michelle Dickens, Executive Director of SANE. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Doug Collins, former Congressman and U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Benton with Benton & Benton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Benton & Benton, local lawyers you can trust.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Are you considering selling your house or land, or perhaps finding your dream home? Call Stacy McCullers, your trusted real estate expert with 12 years of experience and a lifelong connection to Walton County. Stacy is here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're buying or selling, she's available anytime to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. Don't wait. Call today, 678-859-6336. A member of Malcolm & Malcolm Realty Professionals, Stacy McCullers, your realtor for life.
Welcome back, Marc McMain, our next guest. Former Congressman Doug Collins is now the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Secretary Collins, thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, it's always good to be with you. Hope all is well.
It is. We're doing fantastic here. Other than there were snowflakes on my windshield this morning, we're done with the cold weather down here in Georgia. But thrilled to have you on the show. And it's funny because I've always been politically aware, but not politically involved when you were a congressman. But everybody that I come across that was one of your constituents just absolutely adores and loves you. And so I know you had left a wake of people that were very happy with your time in Congress and serving that, I guess, the 9th Congressional District at the time. Am I right?
Yeah, 9th Congressional District. And also, by the way, just as Georgia's my home. I have great, fondness for Georgia and everything about Georgia. But, my grandparents were in Rutledge and Madison and Greensboro.
It's our backyard, yeah.
So, actually, let me be official. We were in Greshamville. I'm a Copeland from Greshamville. So.
Well, we're a small little country station, but we've got a big signal. We cover from Athens down to Lake Oconee, back up into Walton County. So yeah, this is our backyard. That's great. So let me ask you, before we get into the policy side of the Veterans Affairs, your time as a congressman, what was that like? How did that maybe even prepare you for what you're doing now, especially when it comes to the bureaucratic side of the world of what you're doing?
Well, the great part about it was it showed me, from the other side, I've been in the military now for 25 years. I'm retiring this year, but I've also was in Congress. And, dealing with veterans issues is what most congressmen end up having to do. And it's about 60% of their caseload because the Veterans Affairs Department has been it's been a mess. I'll just be blunt.
Sure.
We inherited a mess. It's a very large organization, over 450,000 employees, 170 hospitals. But it really is a common sense bureaucratic problem. So in Congress, I could see it from the perspective of how difficult it was to look at what we'll call an administrative agency, an exact cabinet level agency, but how it was hurting with veterans and getting the care they need. Now, for me being on the inside, I now understand the complaints, and I'm able to go down the line and just say, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix this. We're going to, common sense here. We're not protecting ourselves as much anymore. We're actually helping veterans.
And first off, let me say I appreciate your service to our country. And I'm curious, when President Trump called you and asked you to lead this department, were you taken off guard? Was this something that you maybe thought was brewing, or did it come out of nowhere?
It didn't really come out of nowhere. I mean, the president and I've been close. We had worked together, known each other since the first Trump administration in Congress. I was the ranking member of Judiciary, so I had to deal with all the impeachment and Mueller crap and all that kind of stuff. So he and I got to know each other very well, and I'd kept up through the off years and through the elections. And he would always say, "I'm going to bring you back," and so it worked out. And this was a perfect role for me. I love what I do here with the cabinet, and he made it very simple. to me when he said, what do you want? I said, what do you want me to do with VA? And he said, just take care of veterans. So he's left it to me to take care of veterans, and we've made a lot of changes in the last year.
Well, I think that's what I love that Trump does, is he finds the right people for the right positions, and I couldn't think of anybody better for this position than you with your credentials and bona fides that you had. But before you took over, was there an idea that you had of maybe, okay, I'm sure it's bad, or because just like you, I've heard from veterans that have told me stories and had complaints, and these are things that I kind of knew were bubbling to the surface. I have not served a country, so I've never been involved in that side of the equation, so I wasn't aware from a firsthand perspective the complexities. But did you have an idea of how bad it was before you got there?
We had an idea, but I think the one thing that I found out here is you had a good organization that was just badly bureaucratic, in fact, the last few years was badly managed, to where it became a risk-averse group that basically was taking care of itself more than it was taking care of who were supposed to. The first thing, and today is 1 year actually of my swearing in to this job, and on day one, sitting in the office that I'm sitting in right now, I made the statement that said that veterans will come first at the VA. Now, that may sound like an obvious kind of statement, but it's not when you think about what I said. Everything we do will be focused through the lens of how does it affect a veteran? Is it helping a veteran? Is it getting a veteran the care they've earned? Is it making sure we're honest with our veterans? And so instead of, basically hiring people or doing policies and procedures that were designed to make us feel better, the metric now is not how big the VA can be. The metric is how well are we taking care of a veteran? And so that has been the starting point. Before we did any changes, we just had to have a mindset change to say, look, I want you always thinking about the only person that matters in the VA, because if we didn't have a veteran walk in to our hospitals, our clinics, go online to apply for disability benefits, home loans, educational benefits, cemetery burial plots, we don't have a job. And I think that's the biggest mindset change that I've had to incorporate.
Yeah, and you're right, because I always kind of go back to healthcare. It's a myriad of services and issues that you're facing with this. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Doug Collins. He is the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. What are some of the maybe meaningful steps that you've taken so far? I know you're just getting into this role. It's probably been of course, it's been less than a year. But do you feel like you've made some progress so far? And if you have, where have you seen it?
We made a lot of progress, and basically cutting down barriers to not only our workforce getting job done. I've traveled to 30 states already, over 70 of our different facilities, and I ask one question everywhere I go: what are you doing that's stupid? In other words, what are you doing that gets in the way of us taking care of a veteran?
That's a great question.
First they started laughing. First they thought I was joking, and then they realized I wasn't joking, and we started changing stuff on the spot, basically, and they began to realize this was real. And so one of the things that we had, and this is something that affects all veterans, is that when you put in a claim, you need to get a fast and timely response. Well, we had what was called a backlog, those were cases that were over 125 days old. In other words, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
And there were 260,000 of those.
Good.
We set out to say, no, we're not going to do that. And I can report to you today, a year in, that we're under 100,000. We've cut that over 160,000 in a little less than a year. And average days to complete went from 135, we're down to 80-something days. So that helps veterans get what they need to start our system a lot quicker and a lot more efficient. That's just one of many things that we've been able to do.
And what's next? Have you identified? I know you go and you prioritize. You're probably looking at this from a corporate or business model of, hey, if this was a company, how would we do this? How would we operate? Is there something else in the crosshairs now that you think, man, I want to tackle this issue?
It is. Yeah, the next thing is to go after our main business line, which is our hospitals. We have 170-plus hospitals, 1,200-plus clinics, 390-plus thousand employees in our hospitals and everything taken care of. But it has been let go for so long that our management and governance structure, which everybody from Congress to GAO to Inspector General reports to the press and veteran service organizations like American Legion and VFW and all of them, has said you got to change. Well, nobody wanted to take it on because it's hard. And we've got a lot of ingrown stuff that needs to be festered out. So what we're doing right now is we're in the process of doing a reorganization of our hospital structure, clarifying policy roles, clarifying business line roles, and putting the hospitals and clinics at the tip of the spear and not as an afterthought. Everything else in the VHA is going to be for supporting the hospitals and the clinics. And I think for the veteran, that's going to be a gigantic leap forward in the years to come in the quality and also accessibility for their health care.
Marc McMain, Secretary Doug Collins, U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. A couple more quick questions for you, and I know you got to get back to work. Do you feel that the culture at the Veterans Affairs is changing? Do you feel like were there people there that maybe were reluctant to buy into your vision of how you wanted to improve things, and have you able to either get them on board or, like you said, maybe make changes and build that team of people that believe in what you're doing?
Yes, there were. I think, and I say this with sadness, I think there's a group of folks in Congress, there's a group of, unfortunately, some of my own employees, and definitely the media that were bought into the idea. They are wedded to the idea that the VA they like it to be a failure, because then they can complain about it but not do anything about it and make themselves look patriotic, which is I've just called them out on it every time. And so there is that sign of a culture, but the culture is being won over. And look, I've told all of our employees, don't just trust my words. Look at our actions. And it's slowly building up, and it's going to take I think my entire time, but I think they're finally getting the fact that I'm real about this, and whether they agree with me or disagree with me, and believe me, I still have a lot of folks who want to disagree. But, look, my problem is it's easy to sit on the sidelines and whine, gripe, and moan and complain. It's harder to get into the system and say, look, even you who are complaining about what I'm doing complained about the system as it was. Either get on board and take care of our veterans, or go find another hobby besides complaining about the VA.
That's right. I love it. Yeah, it's like, hey, either join forces, let's make this thing right, or just move along. Go do something else, and we'll get the right people to get in here and fix it. Just two-part question to finalize this with, and I'll give you the last minute or two to say whatever else you want to say. What would your message be to veterans and their families now about what's taking place? And then when your time is done as Secretary of the Veterans Affairs, what do you envision success looks like? So what would be the final model?
Yeah, I think that's probably just a joint answer there. I can say, one, I want it to be said we made a difference. I mean,
yeah, no, I know.
It's been a lot.
Yeah,
it's been a lot. I mean, we've got a lot to do, but I want to make a difference. And what I can say is we actually are. And I can tell those families and those veterans, and I can tell them out there that now, no matter what experience they've had with the VA, and a lot of them have had amazing experiences, and a lot of them some of them have had bad experiences, and a lot of them have listened to the media about how, we are. But at the time, I'm saying there is a new day dawning at the VA. It's been dawning for a year. We're making changes. We're doing what the Congress in this country promised our veterans, and that was if you raise your right hand, serve our country, and if you have injuries or you have things that come along, or if you have benefits that you've earned those benefits, and we're going to make sure that you get it. And all I say is for anybody out there wondering, go to va.gov. I have a lot of the great veterans in Georgia. Many of them, I've heard them say this, well, I haven't applied for my benefits because, somebody else needs them more than I do. Look, let me just tell you, I've got enough for everybody. You're not taking anything from anybody by taking the benefit you earn by raising your right hand for this country. So I just say, use your VA benefits. We're here. We want to help our veterans because they're some of the most special people in the world.
Secretary Collins, I greatly appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate what you're doing. This is well needed, and I just love the fact that it's being addressed. So we'll kind of monitor this, and if you have any updates that you want to share with us, or if you ever find out that you're over here in Good Hope visiting family, you just call us and come visit us. We're just a dirt road country station.
I love it. Get out of Good Hope. We'll have to do that. Y'all all be good. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Thank you so much. That's Secretary Doug Collins. He is the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back. Whoa.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood, They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
If you're looking for a caring dental office that can handle all of your dental needs, look no further. Georgia Dental Studio provides routine and emergency exams. Whether your smile needs a gentle exam, a full mouth restoration, or anything in between, they promise to provide you with exceptional care. They do extractions, root canals, crowns, implants, IV sedation, veneers, and much more. Call 770-464-3626. Georgia Dental Studio, 150 Main Street in Jersey, just a short drive from Monroe, Social Circle, Covington, Bogart, and Oxford.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. Our next guest, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who's running to be the governor of Georgia. Lieutenant Governor, thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, good to be with you guys. I know your next guest, Russ Tanner, that's going to be on. He picked up the phone while I was on hold just then, so I had to. I was like, wait a minute, I recognize this voice from somewhere.
He hasn't been here 5 minutes, and he's acting like he owns the place. He comes in here he has that personality where he's like, hey, I'm here. But no, we're looking forward to having an interview with him too. How have you been doing? Give us a little update of what's going on. This is your final time as far as being lieutenant governor, overseeing the General Assembly. What are you looking for? What's important to you right now?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you asking a question. Appreciate you having me on today. Obviously, when I was in the state senate, I served a portion of Walton County, and Good Hope was right there, represented with us well. So I'm proud to have represented Walton County. But I also am excited about my last year as being lieutenant governor. I've served as lieutenant governor now. This is our 4th year, and I'm obviously running for governor. And I've always just told people, look, if I ever get in a position where I can, really affect, policies here in the state of Georgia, I will. And it's always, to me, been about, lowering the cost of living for people. And so that's why I've always concentrated on the state income tax. We've lowered it 3 years in a row. We're going to do it again this year. I'd like to see us get to 0. We've gotten rid of regulatory guidelines way before DOGE was popular. We were cutting red tape here at the state of Georgia under my leadership, and I've been big on education, both public but also school choice matters. And so we had school choice passed for the first time under my leadership. Big public safety guy, and we've always been with our men and women in law enforcement. Want to continue to do that. And at the end of the day, it's all about making Georgia the best place to live, work, and play and raise a family. I'm a 6th generation Georgian. I love the state of Georgia. Obviously, you got one of my old teammates there, Russ Tanner, that, went to the University of Georgia. And, I'm just a Georgian through and through. And Georgia's had a good run the last 20 years. It had a good common sense leadership at the governor's office and the legislative body. And I just want to continue to do that. And I think I'm the best one qualified to continue that trajectory.
Well, and I knew you when you were a state senator, and your messaging has always been consistent. And so the things that you're just hitting on now is what you were talking about 5 years ago. So you've maintained that consistency, and you've carried that into your time as lieutenant governor. When you're doing this now, when you've decided, hey, I'm going to run for governor, so you're campaigning. I can only imagine how spread thin you are because you're running for a statewide race, as you did when you ran for lieutenant governor. But you also still are overseeing the Senate, and you've got this General Assembly in full steam right now. How are you managing your time and getting everything done? Because you're being pulled in a lot of different directions, I can only imagine.
Yeah, and don't forget, I'm also a husband and a father, and I run a business.
Job number one. Job number one.
Those are pretty heavy loads too. But it's just about managing your time and getting good people around you, and then delegating in the places that you can, and then also and then take it on the other stuff that you got to do, personally. Obviously, when you're campaigning, people want to see and hear you, so you got to go to them. But I've got a great team around me, not just on the campaign, but also in my business and at the legislature office. I always try to hire people that are a lot smarter than me and have a good work ethic, and that's what I've always done, whether it's in business or in politics or whatever. So all that it's just about time management, and that's something that I've always been able to do, and I've always been a multitasker, and so it's just that's it. But it is a big state, but there's a lot of great people in this state, and campaigning is always, it's a grind, no question about it. But at the end of the day, if you're doing it for the right reasons, that energy comes to you naturally.
It does, and it's rewarding. It's rewarding. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Let's talk about Trump's endorsement. That was a big deal. I know you've been a huge supporter of Trump and his policies. What did the endorsement mean to you and your campaign?
Well, obviously, I'm honored to have it. I've been a big advocate for President Trump since he came down the escalator. A lot of people have come and gone.
Sure. Yep.
But I've been right there. I was the first elected official way back in 2016 in Georgia to endorse him. He obviously endorsed me in my race for lieutenant governor, and he's endorsed me again. Mainly, and in that 10-year span, he and I have gotten to be good friends. And I'm proud to say I can pick up my phone and call him on his cell phone, and he'll answer. And so he's been a huge mentor to me, number one, but he's also been a big supporter. And he is endorsing me because he knows I'm the best person for the job. Quite frankly, these other people I'm running against, they're trying to act like something that they've never been before. And that's going to show through in the campaign as we move forward. All of them, these are never Trumpers, and they've never been supportive of the president or any of his policies. But now that they're running for office and they're running for governor, obviously they're trying to jump on his coattails. But he's made it very clear who his candidate is, and I'm sure he will be down here very soon before the May 19th primary to stump for us in some capacity. So I'm glad to have it, but still got to put the work in as we travel the state, and because at the end of the day, people want to see and touch the person that they're going to call governor. There's
a couple of pillars of your campaign you mentioned earlier, and there's two of them I just want to kind of focus on. One of the cutting the income tax. It looks like the Senate now has really has a vision as to how this is going to unfold, because there was some ambiguity as to what it looked like. Do you feel like they've reached a point where now they've got something that they can deliver upon?
Yeah, I mean, we've put together, and I'll give Senator Blake Tillery a lot of credit for carrying this bill, but we put a 5-year plan in place. We're gonna, and that's something that I think is a very doable plan that he has authored, and I like it right now. But we are going through the budget right now, and we're going to cut the income tax this year for the 4th year in a row. And we're going to balance our budget, and then we're going to get out of here and get out on the campaign trail. But we do have a plan, and I think it's a pretty good one, and it's going to be one that will be doable, and we'll put a plan that's 5 years in the making.
And it puts real money back in Georgians' pockets. That's what I love. I mean, it's going to make the difference of families.
I always like the Democrats talk about, the Republicans are never talking about affordability. Here I am talking about wanting to give everybody a 5% raise, by getting rid of our income tax and freezing property taxes. And the whole time these guys are up here voting against these measures. So I don't know how you can be for cost of living and affordability and you're voting against tax breaks, as far as right. So, my goal is to put more money back in the people's pocket. You said it perfectly. And that's what I've always been about. I'm a business person first, and I know, how hard it is to make things work, to make payroll, because I've run a company before. I've signed the front of the check. I know exactly what it's like to have to risk your own capital and And so a lot of these other folks I'm running against have no clue about that.
Well, something else that's big to me, and I know this hits home for you, is strengthening rural Georgia. I've had many on this show that have talked about the plights of those in the ag industry and beyond, just things that, we get so focused on Atlanta and Athens and Augusta and states like, or cities like this, but there's folks in rural Georgia that have their issues as well. What does that mean to you, and what's going to be kind of the focus there?
Well, I'm the only candidate that's running that's from rural Georgia. I'm from Budds County. I was born and raised there, and still live there today. We're a population of 25,000, so we are considered, small town Georgia. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, and this is a Republican and Democrat, are from Atlanta. And so I grew up on a cattle farm that we still have today. So I understand exactly the challenges that small communities face when it comes to access to health care, when it comes to transportation, shortfalls, educational opportunities, and economic opportunities. So I've lived it and I've breathed it, and I've been a part of trying to build coalitions and getting industries to communities, smaller communities, and getting more opportunities from education opportunity to economic and transportation opportunities. So I think the best person equipped to talk about issues that pertain to rural Georgia is somebody who's actually been there and done it.
That's right.
And so that's another thing that I bring to the table that nobody else is going to have, because, like I said, we're both Republican and Democrats. They're all Metro Atlanta folks.
And finally, if somebody wants to learn more about your campaign, if they want to get involved, if they want to support you, can you give us a website and how they connect?
Yeah, it's BurtJonesForGA.com, BurtJonesForGA.com. Please go to the website. We'd love to have you as a volunteer, love to have you engage with our campaign, however you are comfortable doing, and just love to have you on the team. So, that's the best way to get to us, BurtJonesForGA.com. And I appreciate you having me on today. And you keep Russ Tanner in check now. I see him all over these barbecue stands he's going to.
Yeah, it does the little like the food reviews, right? I've got that queued up to talk about it, because every time I watch him, I get hungry now. So I
tell him if he wants to go taste barbecue, just come on the campaign trail with me, because everywhere we go, we got barbecue. So,
you get your lifetime supply of barbecue on the campaign trail. That's right. Oh, that's fantastic. Right. Well, we wish you the best. Be safe crossing the state, and keep us posted on your campaign.
Okay, hey, appreciate y'all having me on, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Absolutely. It's Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, running to be your next governor of the great state of Georgia. Check out his website, learn more about him. If you want to get involved, I'm sure there's opportunities to volunteer, donate, support in some form or fashion. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Russ Tanner, family man, businessman, former football player, and I didn't even know he's buddies with the lieutenant governor.
Yeah,
good pals. They came in. Russ comes here, gets on the phone, starts talking to him in between the interviews.
I look at him like, wait a second.
That's great. That's great. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
But barbecue sounds good too. So let's join that
learn all
trail,
about the
campaign
barbecue
trail.
in just
there
a minute
you go.
here.
Awesome.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Real country. This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Clint Black on the Back on the Blacktop tour.
Walking in the moonlight, seeing nothing but the
Experience the country living legend, Clint Black.
Leaving here a better man.
Thursday, February 26th at the Classic Center Theater. Tickets are on sale now at ClassicCenter.com.
Saturday night, everything's right with the summer.
Clint Black, produced by Pepper Entertainment.
Roll-Off Systems of Statham, they're on a roll. They offer dumpsters in all sizes, trash compactors, porta potties, and new combo cans. Existing sites are new building sites. Trash and waste disposal, it's their business. Locally owned and operated. Call Roll-Off Systems today. 770-725-ROLL. That's 770-725-ROLL. Or go to roll-offsystems.com.
John Supermarket in downtown Monroe is proud to serve the Walton County community for over 50 years. 3 generations of the Thompson family offering the freshest produce, quality meats, everyday essentials, and now featuring Bistro South, a quick service restaurant with freshly made Southern cuisine and ready-to-heat gourmet meals. Always proud to support local farmers and suppliers, John Supermarket has the best meat in town and tons of weekly specials. Stop by and see them for all the ingredients, meals, snacks, sweets, gifts, and everything in between you need.
Cassie Enterprises invites you to stop in and see their new line of Coyote brand tractors, UTVs, and Bad Boy zero-turn mowers. Coyote tractors have the power to handle any job. Working on the farm, landscape business, and more, Coyote tractors are dependable and ready to work for you. Sales, service, parts, and more. It's all available at Cassie Enterprises. Family owned and operated. 145 Highway 83 in Good Hope. Go to CassieTractor.com.
When you walk through the doors of Campton Restaurant, you're not just here for a meal, you're part of a tradition. I'm fourth generation owner Josh Parker, and for nearly 40 years, families in Walton County and surrounding areas have gathered around our tables to share stories, laughter, and good Southern cooking. From crispy fried chicken to heart-healthy daily specials, there's always a plate waiting with your name on it. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays. So come on by, make yourself at home, and experience Campton Restaurant, where family tradition meets every meal.
Hey, this is attorney Bart Bitton with Bitton & Bitton. I live and work right here in Monroe, Georgia, and I am proud to serve this area. If you've been hurt in a car accident, you don't need some out-of-town lawyer that treats you like a number. You deserve a local lawyer you can trust, someone who lives here, works here, and takes care of people. So remember this, if you're ever in a car accident, be smart, call Bart. Bitton & Bitton, local lawyers you can trust.
And welcome back, Marc McMain. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. We had so many phone calls coming in and out. I guess what happened is when Secretary Collins got off the phone, Burt called in.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones called in.
I answered, and it was a mess.
We had
I
a
was
phone.
fumbling.
But hey, you know what? Sometimes the wheels come off.
But they're so kind and
we just put them back on, and we're back in
That's
business.
right.
Well, this will be a lot of fun. My next guest, Russ Tanner. He is a former college athlete, played center for the Bulldogs, family man, businessman, and a buddy of Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Russ, thanks for joining us.
Hey, man, glad to be here.
That was kind of fun when you came in and said, hey, let me talk to Burt.
Well, I know. I walked in and I heard Chastity. I'm sorry, I almost said the wrong name. I heard Chastity talking and it said Burt. I said, Burt. And, yeah, we shared a locker room at Georgia. Burt's a little bit older than me. But, yeah, man, there's a special bond anytime you play together and you share a locker room together. So, yeah, Burt's a buddy.
Now, did you know him before your time as Bulldog?
No. We're from different rural parts of the state.
Yeah.
He was an upper class when we got there. And, he was one of those guys who was a walk-on when he got to Georgia.
Okay.
But he was one of those guys that was on the field for every special team, ended up playing meaningful snaps on defense and getting a scholarship. So huge amounts of respect for guys like that. Like, I don't care about the lieutenant governor stuff, all that. Like, he's my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to call him that. And I hope he wins. So,
That's a lot of fun. Tell me about your time. So, take us all the way up to maybe when you got accepted into UGA. Childhood, where you grew up.
How long we got?
we got the fastest hour in business.
Yeah, we'll knock it out. Yeah, so I'm from Wrightsville, Georgia. So, not a lot down there. It's in between the cows and the cotton of Macon and Savannah.
Yeah.
The only thing we're famous for is the Homer Herschel Walker. So,
there you go.
I knew from a pretty early age that I love football, I love college football. Wasn't sure I wanted to be a dog necessarily. I just loved college football.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough for Coach Rick and his staff to come in 2001, which is my senior year of high school. And, they offered me a scholarship. And
what was that like? Yes. Were they coming and recruiting you? Did you see them in the stands when you're playing some of your high school games and you knew they were there?
So Coach Rick, no, because Coach Rick got hired in December of that year.
Okay.
The old college football calendar and cycle is a lot different than it is now. So Coach Donnan was the coach during that season, Jim Donnan. And then the Donnan staff got released early part of December. Well, high school football's over with for the most part. So Coach Rick comes in early middle of December. He's still on staff at Florida State, coaching for Bobby Bowden, and I think they were in the national championship or something that year. So he wasn't in games per se. But, yeah, during your senior season, teams are recruiting you are there. But, yeah, that December, January was a whirlwind. A lot of in-home visits. All these coaches are coming in.
Yeah.
To little old Wrightsville, Georgia, sitting down with me and my mom and my daddy.
That had to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and did you play center in high school too?
I did.
Okay. And so when you know they're there and they're watching you, I mean, you extra geeked up. I mean, you ready? Are you pancaking people just to put on that extra?
Oh man, the athlete. I think anybody that plays sports on a higher level, I was fortunate enough to do. You learn to just kind of block out all that stuff. Like it's just noise. It doesn't matter if they're there or not.
You just do your
perform
job.
or you don't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, but it was awesome. It's a great, exciting time. I get to tell my kids I used to be somebody. They don't believe me, but that was a really cool time in my life to be 17, 18 years old and being recruited by places like Georgia.
And what was it like going to UGA at the time? Coming from rural Wrightsville.
Well, I thought it was going to be just a walk in the park, but my first class was anthropology. I didn't know how to spell anthropology, and I thought I have come to the big city. I remember my mama calling me one day and I said, "What you doing, Mama?" She said, "Oh, I'm getting dressed. Your dad's taking me out to eat tonight." I said, "Oh, you are?" She said, "Yep, we got a new restaurant in town. I'm so excited." So, "Oh, where y'all going?" She said, "Subway." I was like, "Oh, no shade towards Subway, but if that's the new restaurant in town that she's getting dressed up to go to," I was like, I might as well have moved to Tokyo or New York City or something. It's coming from Wrightsville to Athens. So there's a little bit of a culture shock, to say the least, but it didn't take long to fall in love with the area. And, it was great, man. I look back at some of the best years of my life.
Oh, I bet. And Athens changes a lot, over the past couple of decades, but I still know that had to be a big jump for you. Were you able to manage being a student athlete and then having to perform on the field? And was it the demand, was it overwhelming, or was it something that you just fit right into?
Yeah, great question. You don't just fit right into it. Not many guys do. I guess there's some people that are just freakazoids. Like Pollock was my roommate, David Pollock, and he's a different bird. But I get I remember my second year specifically. It was a really low spot for me. I'd hurt my hand. I was injured. I signed up for a lot of hard classes that I couldn't spell very good, so my grades weren't going well. I had a girlfriend and she dumped me.
Oh, mercy!
And I didn't even think she was that good looking. I was like, man, it's a tough day. I'm hurt. I'm on the sideline. Classes aren't going good.
Your confidence is in the tank.
My average girlfriend dumped me. Like, it's a bad day. And then you combine that with actually trying to play football, class, social aspect, all of it. Like, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And had a season where I really hit a low spot in my life. I was ready to quit, ready to come home. And fortunately, the good Lord kind of spoke to me. Has a lot of people praying for me, supporting me. Kind of re-engaged into a support system of people around me that love me, and quit doing idiotic things that we tend to do when we're 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, right.
Kind of just focused in it, and you just learn the rhythm to be able to perform, and then it's great.
And you were able to finish all 4 years?
5. Took me an extra year.
All right.
So I redshirted in 01.
Okay,
then, so then I played 4 years after that.
What a great story, though. What a great experience. What were some of the highlights? Let's go back to the sports side. Any
football-wise?
Yeah, football-wise.
Oh, man. So several. People ask me about specific games.
Okay.
And I wasn't a guy I don't think I had a lot of concussions, but I just don't remember a lot of stuff. I think it's just my issue. But I go back to specific games that we won. And like 2001, I was a redshirt, but I got to travel, and I was in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, during the famous Larry Munson. We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot. We crushed their faces.
That's a great,
when David Green
great
hit
impersonation.
Veron Haynes in the end zone. It was so loud you couldn't hear yourself breathe.
Wow.
I think about the SEC championship game in 2002. We hadn't won an SEC championship game since the early 80s.
Okay.
And I got to be a part of that team where we beat Arkansas that had Darren McFadden, and some of those guys on the team were just great college football players. You fast forward through, Coach Rick talked a lot about knocking what we call the glass ceiling off the program. It's like you always saw how good the program could be, but we always just seemed as a program to kind of hit that spot and come down, hit that spot and come down. So games like beating Tennessee in Knoxville, winning the SEC championship game. We went to LSU in 2003. They beat us. It was like 13-10, but you played a night game in Baton Rouge against the absolute heavyweights of college football.
What an experience that had to be.
And then we won the SEC again in 2005, my senior year. And those things are just, you look back at specific moments like that, you're like, how fortunate am I?
Think about that.
Not many people get the opportunity to do what
Right.
we did. Like, the good Lord made me 6'4", 300 pounds. Like, I get it. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
I ain't anything special. He made me a little bit bigger than the average person, and was able to be a part of that. Then you look forward to like what Georgia do, what the University of Georgia's done now, and the Kirby Smart and all that stuff, and you feel like you're part of that fabric of the brotherhood, and it means something. So it's special to me, and I love it. My wife's a diehard Georgia fan. My kids love it. So
everybody's bought into the whole thing.
Everybody's bought in. My daughter's got a boyfriend who's a baseball player, and he's getting some interest from Georgia Tech. And he said, "Are you going to wear a Georgia Tech sweater?" She said, "Absolutely not." So I think if he pushed that, he's going to get dumped. So, we raise him right.
Oh, that is too good. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, Russ Tanner, played center for the Bulldogs back in 2002 to 2005. Russ, so I've got so many questions. I don't know. We're going to figure out the directions to take this, but the first one I've got.
We're not going to go the direction you think right now. I bet you. It's just the way it goes.
That's it. Who knows what this thing winds up as? But I just got to know, when you're in the trenches and you guys are squaring off at each snap and you've got the defensive line looking at you, is there chatter going on?
I knew you were going to ask the trash talk question.
Yeah.
I was 100% sure that's where you're going with this. I could have cut you off an answer.
Yeah.
And here's all right. We're already. I feel like your audience is a specific audience that knows you, likes you, and understands what's going on. So I feel
we
like
hope
we're
they
family.
like me.
Well, if they're still listening, they probably do. So I feel like we're family.
That's right.
Here's the honest truth of the matter. Linemen are too fat to trash talk. Like, we're tired, brother.
So you got to catch your breath.
You're just breathing. Like, those little DBs, like the defensive backs, the wide receivers, the little pretty boys that run fast, like their warm-ups, they're like jumping. Like, you don't see an offensive lineman stretching.
Right.
Like, you've never pulled, like, you don't pull a hamstring as offensive lineman. Like, you have enough fat, you don't pull fat.
Right.
So you're tired between plays. The only time I ever remember talking during games was we were playing at Kentucky, and they had a guy named Dwayne Robertson. He's like, "What y'all eat pregame meal?" Hut. You run the play. Come back the next play. They're like, "Man, we had prime rib and grilled chicken." He's like, "What? Man, we had spaghetti." Hut. You run the play. So this goes on for a few minutes, and like Tennessee had a kid named J.P. Mapu. I won't forget that. J.P. Mapu was Samoan. Tennessee had a lot of Samoan players. Really good player.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him in the game. I was like, "Where are you from?" Hut. You run the play. Come back the next play. He's like, "I'm from Hawaii, man." I'm like, "Oh, really? Your family travel?" Hut. You run the play. He comes back. "Yeah, they're in the third row right over there." Like, you see like 8 huge Samoans sitting over there. He's like, "Yeah, that's my dad, my uncles." So there's more of that talk. Like, you don't have time to like get upset and talk trash. And
So it's a casual conversation between buddies and between the snaps. I love it. That is just too much fun. Bowl games? Any memories from bowl games? So if you SEC championship, then followed by a bowl game.
I like popcorn questions, by the way.
Yeah.
So got to play the Sugar Bowl twice, which was awesome. Played there in 2000. I guess it would have been the 03 Sugar Bowl.
Now, refresh my memory. Who was your opponent then, if you remember?
Florida State.
Okay.
And we beat them. It was a great game. And that was a big one because it was Coach Rick playing Florida State, where he'd been on staff under Coach Bowden for a long time. So that was awesome. We played the Sugar Bowl again when it moved to Atlanta because of Hurricane Katrina against West Virginia. Got beaten that game, so don't bring that back up.
That's mind-blowing to think about, that Hurricane Katrina. It seems like it happened just 10 years ago. That's 20 years ago now.
20 years ago, Coach.
My Lord. Unreal.
So,
Who was your opponent in that game?
West Virginia.
West Virginia, okay. And what was the highest, because you know how they do the post-season rankings after the season. So what was the highest ranking that UGA under your tenure?
2 or 3. Wow. I mean, that year, that 02 season, I say this with extreme confidence. Like, if you don't agree with me on this, you can come and we can fight. I don't care because you're wrong. If Coach Rick had been the coach during the college football playoff era, he would have won probably 2 national championships. Because that 02 season, we lost to Florida early in the year, and then we didn't lose again.
Yeah, because back then, if you lost one game, you were
out.
Yeah.
You were out.
Right.
So we didn't win it that year, but we were the best team in the country by the end of the year. I firmly believe that. Beat the mess out of Florida State. Same thing in 05. We ended up losing 2 games in 05, but we didn't make that. We won the SEC, then lost our bowl game for the second loss. But we didn't want to play West Virginia because we felt like we got snubbed in the national championship. So we ended up 2 or 3 a couple of years, and
think about that. I mean, you're right. That 2002 season, that's an elite team. Now, refresh my memory. I'm not a statistician on this. David Green or Matthew Stafford? Who was quarterback?
David Green.
Okay.
I didn't play with Stafford. Stafford didn't come in until 06, 07, so he was after us.
Got you.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm a D Green, DJ Shockley man myself.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great story. That's too much fun. I don't know. I know this interview is going to go real fast. So Marc McMain Show, we're visiting with Russ Tanner, former center for the UGA Bulldogs. Living some stories. We're going to come back, continue this conversation. Don't move. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's what's new.
Looking for a deal on a new 2025 Ford F-150? Then come to last year's #1 retail volume Ford dealer in the nation, Akins Ford in Winder. Hi, this is Brad Akins, and through January 31st, take $15,000 off the MSRP on remaining 2025 Ford F-150 XLTs and Trimmers. Stock number 89625, MSRP 68758, with approved financing through Ford Credit and your 1995 renew or trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. See dealer for details. Claim based on Ford's 2025 retail sales report. Visit us today at akinsford.com.
Need a hot biscuit in the morning? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Need a hot lunch, like chicken, with some of your favorite side dishes? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. How about some yummy barbecue or Brunswick stew for dinner? You'll find that at Stripling's General Store. Plus, there's ice, fuel, snacks, cold beverages, and so much more. It's your one-stop shop. That's Stripling's General Store. Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart. Open 7 days a week.
Dreaming of the perfect backyard this summer? Hi, I'm Jason with Rosewood Luxury Pools. We design, build custom in-ground pools with timeless design and lasting quality. As a licensed general contractor, we handle every detail from concept to completion, so you can just relax and enjoy the process. Summer's right around the corner. Let's get ready for your pool party. Give us a call at 678-635-7276 or look us up at rosewoodluxurypools.com.
Welcome back. Marc McMain, our guest, Russ Tanner, talking about his time at UGA as a center. So post-college, you graduate. What's next for you, Russ? Where'd you go from here?
Yeah, so I actually was married in college. So my wife, Shelly, and I met at UGA. Had a class together. I heard her say, "My name's Shelly. I'm from Dublin." Ooh, she's good looking too.
You fell in love.
So I fell in love, brother. She brought me a cookie on my birthday, and that was it. So we got married while I was still in college, and graduated in 05. Had a dream like all guys that played Division I football of making the NFL.
Sure.
So worked out for that. Was fortunate enough to sign as an undrafted free agent with the Colts. I wasn't drafted, but I got to sign with the Colts.
Yeah.
And I made it through a few rounds of cuts and got released by them before the season started. But that was a cool experience. And we were married and came back to Georgia. And she had been accepted to Emory to go to nursing school, and I needed a job.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea what I was going to do, so I actually got a job in the mortgage business, so in Athens, and I did that for 17 years.
Is that a great career?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
Now, kids?
Oh yeah, lots of them.
What's the head count?
4.
4 children.
Yes, I got a daughter who's 16. I've got 2 boys that are 14, and I got a 6-year-old that snuck in there.
Oh my goodness! Okay, a little spread.
Busy.
Well, let me ask you this: are they demonstrating any of Dad's, athletic ability? Did they want to play a sport, you think, beyond high school?
They're all involved. So my daughter pole vaults. She did not get that from her daddy. She does pole vaulting and cheerleading. I would probably stink at both of those sports. So I can't say that her ability is from me.
She's got some bravery. Pole vault, that's no joke.
It's tough, Coach.
Yeah,
tough to watch.
That is tough.
And, of my boys, very fortunately, they're all built a little bit slimmer than I'm built. I'm what you call big bone and heavy set. So they all love sports. They all play a variety of stuff. But they're young, man. Like we're not a crazy sports family as far as travel sports and all that.
Yeah.
They work out, they have fun, they get after it. I'm a big believer in just multiple sports and kids having fun
I
being
do
athletes
too.
with it. So that's what they all do right now. They're 14. Maybe if they grow in the next few years, maybe somebody gets to do something. But
and it's funny you say that, Russ, because I think parents get so wrapped up in trying to get their kids ready to play at the next level, whatever that next level may be. And I think what I've always looked at is, hey, if they are destined to be an elite level athlete, you'll figure it out.
Look, I'll give you a great example of that. So I mentioned David Pollock earlier. We're college roommates. He's one of my best friends. Love him. So he's got a son, Nicholas, and I'm not breaking any news here. He posts this on his X account, so it's public stuff. So Nicholas is a rising senior this year, or he's in 11th grade right now at North Oconee. Plays football for them, and he's been a good player most of his life. I mean, just a kid who does his job, is part of the team, is out there, works hard, whatever. Well, homeboy grew recently. And he sent us a video. He's 6'3", 225, and he jumped in the air with a basketball, went between his legs, and dunked it.
You're kidding me.
He posted it online. The next day, he got 3 offers. So, man, it doesn't matter like how many camps you do and all the 7-on-7s you do. You're 6'3", 225, and can dunk between your legs. Like,
You're
all right,
going somewhere.
we'll give you a shot. So. I love sports. I love youth sports. I think it teaches you a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, like if kids work hard, they have fun, they're athletic, they stay active, and the good Lord lays his hand on you physically, you have a shot.
Well, and I think the worst thing that a parent can do is if they have a child that, let's say, is demonstrating they're rising to the top, and they're a 12-year-old playing in a 15-year-old division, whatever it may be, and my kid's really good, is to start funneling them into just that sport. Yeah. I think the more exposure you can give them, how often I've seen it where parents say, oh, no, my kid, he's going to be a future soccer player. I don't want him to play basketball. I don't want him to play baseball. I don't want him to do martial arts. It's like, that's the dumbest thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's dumb.
Yeah, let them play everything.
Yeah.
And for multiple reasons, I think the cross-pollination is important. Yeah. But also, you want them to have fun.
Yeah. Sports got to be fun, man.
It's got to be fun.
I played a long time at a high level.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point in sports where it's not fun anymore.
Sure.
It just does. It's a grind.
Yeah.
And you make it up to, playing Division I sports, trying to make the NFL, like, it's a job. So, if you get big enough, fast enough, strong enough to get a chance, that's great. So make sure you enjoy those youth times, man. I love watching my kids. I don't actually love watching my daughter pole vault because it's so stressful.
That's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
And what am I going to tell her? Jump higher, sweet pea. Like, I don't have any coaching tips for pole vaulters.
Dad, you have no clue
I'm 304 pounds. I couldn't pole vault over anything.
That thing would snap.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love it. There's and I've had the blessing of coaching all my kids when they grew up, and their big sport that they picked was soccer. I wasn't a soccer player, but I learned how to coach it, and I just loved it. And it's like, hey, you're running, you're moving, you're doing stuff. And then I made them. One thing I did make my boys do is I made them wrestle.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
And I said, you have to.
I wish mine would wrestle.
The reason
It'd
I did
be good
that,
for 'em.
it is. And I told they did it in middle school, and I said, you have to do it for 1 year for two reasons. Number one is it'll be the hardest thing you ever do.
Yep.
And I said, number two, you'll never walk into a situation unprepared again.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
You'll never walk into an interview and be intimidated.
Yeah.
So you get out there in that little, what do they call it, the singlet?
I guess so.
500 people and you go mano a mano. That's about as intimidating as it gets.
I agree with that.
No, it's good. So what was the decision to stay in Athens? So you graduate, you said your wife goes to Emory, then you decide, hey, let's make Athens home.
Yeah, so we love the area. I mean, obviously my wife and I both went to UGA, we met at UGA and loved it. And she was in school at Emory, and my first job was in Athens.
Okay.
So we bought a house actually in Monroe.
On the Morgan side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
You said it bought a house in Monroe?
We bought a house in Monroe to split the difference for her going to Emory and me going to Athens to work. So, and I had some family that was in the area, cousin that lived up here. And, we didn't think we were going to be headed back to Wrightsville and Dublin where we're from. We loved the area and just thought it was a great place to start trying to build a life and a family. And we decided to stay, and here we are.
You got family all over the place now, then.
I do. Yes, sir.
I'm sure that makes family reunions always a lot of fun. Marc McMain, our guest, Russ Tanner, talking about his time after college when he played center for the Bulldogs. What are some of the challenges that you faced, living and working in the area? You said you're a mortgage broker, mortgage agent for 17 years. Yeah. And again, I think you picked a great time to do that. I mean, you've seen some highs and lows.
I actually am a general contractor now, so switched about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So building houses, doing residential stuff, remodeling, renovation, all that stuff. But, had a long run in the mortgage. Got to be 40 and decided to pursue another challenge. So, yeah.
It's a great time to do that, too.
Oh, well, we're getting there.
Yeah. What is it, residential or commercial?
Yeah, residential.
Okay.
Steadfast construction.
So you saw some buddies doing this. You say, hey, I think I'm going to try and do this as well.
I won't go into the whole long story of it just because we only have an hour. Yeah. But I've got a really good friend that's a pretty good-sized commercial contractor in the area. And he still had residential calls coming in. And he was like, man, why don't we team up and start another company to handle the residential side of it? So he and I own it together. And, man, we're just out there getting after it.
Yeah, that's development. Again, go back to 2008, 2012.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When the bottom fell out. I had friends that were in the development side of the world that really just lost everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was a rough time. What are you seeing going on in the market right now?
Now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting right now because back to the mortgage talk for a second. For several years, the last 3 or 4 years, you still had so many people in such low mortgage rates, so many people that were below 3.5%, 3.7%, that not a lot of people wanted to move.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, home values go up. People are like, you know what, I think I'll probably sell it, just see what happens. Mm-hmm. And then as the population in our area continues to grow, Atlanta's growing, Georgia's growing, people want to live here as opposed to places like, I don't know, Chicago. Mm-hmm. Where it's cold. Nobody wants to live there anyway.
Nobody's going there.
So people are coming out here. So you're starting to see more and more development, more and more homes go. We live out in Oconee County, and just with the school systems there and people wanting to come in, I mean, the county's having to limit how many houses can be built a year because there's such a demand of people to move into the area.
That's right.
We're doing a whole lot of older homes that are being now remodeled, renovated, either for people to live in or getting ready to go to market. So, yeah, there's a lot of that right now.
Well, and I think, too, what people have is they have an appetite that people want starter homes that are affordable, and it's hard to get a starter home that's affordable in the Monroe area, the downtown Walkersville area, the downtown Athens area, because that's where everyone wants to be. So a lot of people are having to go to the outskirts.
Yes.
Right? They're having to go to the rural side of these counties, which, in my opinion, I love that. I mean, I'd rather be where I can sit on my front porch and, sit out there in my underwear if I wanted to. No one's going to see me. It's just what I prefer.
A lot of people listen to us whose granddads grew up in like Good Hope and Bostwick. If they knew what land around here is selling for now, I mean, they'd be coming back. Like, we got to sell it, Ma.
Well, it's when I drive from Monroe to the station each morning, and now what's happening is everybody is coming this way. Look at all the development that's coming out here. So we're actually in the Morgan County side of the Good Hope, but when you look at that intersection and the homes that have popped up, the communities that have popped up, it tells you that people, yes, I get it, it's more affordable, but people like this type of living too. There's something to be said for living out in the country.
Yes. I mean, look, I got kicked out of a subdivision.
For what?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. There's several issues, Mark, if you're from Wrightsville, that you don't know about until you live in a subdivision.
Like hanging your clothes to dry on the fence?
I didn't do that.
Okay.
You can't burn your tree in the backyard, your Christmas tree.
That's frowned upon.
I set like a 14-foot high one on fire, and they didn't like that.
They mean in the fire department?
No.
Or the HOA?
The HOA Dudley Do Rights. So then, after Halloween, we had some pumpkins on the front steps. We got done with them. Well, daggone, we ain't paying to throw them away. Just threw them out in the backyard by the woods. They didn't like it either because they said you could see them out there.
Just let them compost out there in the backyard.
I was composting.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll call it that. And then I built like a pergola on my back deck. I was going to build a pergola on my back deck. And they said, you got to go through the architectural review board. I said, what does that mean? And they said, well, so-and-so's got to review it. And I said, okay. I went and looked at it. Well, there had been a big skerfuffle in the neighborhood. The architectural review board was 3 people. 2 resigned.
So it was one guy.
It was one dude. We'll just call him Joe. So I had to go with Joe, and he's like, you're not going to build that. I was like, you know what?
Joe said no.
Joe said no. So I told Joe, you know what? I'm voting myself on the architectural review board, and I say yes. So we built it. And then I got a letter saying it wasn't okay. So I was like, you know what? We might need to move on out somewhere to where I don't have to go inside the house to use the restroom if I need to. So I needed some rural places with spaces.
I got a question for you. How could they see the pergola on the back deck, or was there homes behind you that you
Exactly.
From?
It was back up to green space. Joe just had a little bit of a power trip. You know, I mean, you have
flying a drone in your backyard to see what's going on?
I don't know. This is like 2012. We didn't have. I mean, listen. You have a lot of political people that come on here and have conversations. A lot of people just like to try to flex their muscles at you. But Joe didn't know. Like, I voted myself on his committee, and then voted him off. He stayed on, but I left. But so I guess he won. But
that is great. That is great. Marc McMain, our guest Russ Tanner, talking about HOAs, which sometimes can be no fun. In the neighborhood I used to live in, they would have guys that drive around with the golf carts, and they would actually have a clipboard, and they'd sit there and they'd study your house, and they'd write notes down. And I would get a letter every now and then, and I just played by the rules, and decided, just like you, I'm going to move out to where I've got more space. Yeah. I don't want people looking at what I've got going on in my backyard.
And the more and more people see, back to the premise of the question, the more and more people see, like, there's a rural way of living where you can have neighbors that you know. You're not right on top of each other.
That's
you
right.
can do stuff with your land. You can enjoy it. You can breathe fresh air. Like, man, why do you want to go live in an apartment if you don't have to? And look, there's been times in my life when we've had to live in an apartment, live in very tight spots. So I'm not knocking that. But if you have the opportunity to move out a little bit of space, man, I'm all for it.
It's lifestyle, and I lived in a duplex. My mom, we were going through tough times, and that was a godsend to have a place that was affordable for us to live in when we were going through those tough times. But I also visited friends up in the city, up in New York, and it's fun to go for a weekend. But I could not imagine living amongst that massive humanity day in and day out. Yeah. And then when you want to go walk the dog or kick a ball or do something outside, you've got limited space to do it. So we are blessed. But hence, that's why people are coming here, Russ, and that's why your business is flourishing, because people are not just coming to Georgia and coming to these communities. They're coming here because they realize they're doing it the right way. Yeah, we're on to something down here. Marc McMain Show, Russ Tanner. Take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk about some of the charities that he and his family are involved in.
Are you looking for custom t-shirts, golf shirts, or uniforms for yourself or work? What about a family reunion, a fundraiser, or sports team? Whatever you're looking for, Chris and Debbie at Blue Hound in Monroe can help you. Real Country uses Blue Hound for our golf shirts and t-shirts. They do quality work and they're great folks. Blue Hound is located at 111 East Washington Street in Monroe. Go by and see what they can do for you or call 404-307-3664. That's 404-307-3664. Tell them April sent you.
You ever roll out of bed and feel like you lost a fight with a tractor? If your back's barking, your neck's complaining, and your knees pop louder than a box of cereal, it might be time for the Joint Chiropractic. There are no appointments, no insurance mess, and no sitting around all day. You just walk in, get adjusted, and head back out feeling human again. Now serving Covington and Monroe, whether you've been hauling, hunting, working, or just sleeping funny, the Joint Chiropractic keeps you moving smooth and feeling right. The Joint Chiropractic, because snap, crackle, and pop belong in your cereal and not your spine.
Affordable housing is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2 and 3 bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
Franklin's Gun Shop in Athens has everything you need for hunting and fishing. They have great prices on their guns, ammo, scopes, bows, gun safes, knives, blinds, tree stands, and rod and reels, clothing, and more. I do all of my shopping at Franklin's, and they're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 9 and Sunday noon to 6. At Franklin's, you'll get great customer service from people who know what they're talking about. Family owned since 1961, located at 3941 Atlanta Highway in Athens.
And welcome back, Marc McMain, our guest, Russ Tanner. Russ, it appears that you and I both have married up. I have not met your wife yet, but I do understand. Her. Well, that's a good start. You know, like and love is a good start for a good, successful marriage. But what I will tell you, as I've read more about her and the entity that she has founded, the Hope 139 House, this is impressive.
Yeah. So, and we can get into how it came about. But yes, so my wife is the founder and executive director of Hope 139. It is a ministry, a nonprofit that's in Athens that provides housing, cottages, life skills, and training for young moms in unplanned, unexpected pregnancy situations. Mm. So you think about like a young mom who may be homeless, doesn't have somewhere to go, faces losing their children to DFACs, but wants to keep their kids and feels like their option is to give their kids up or have an abortion. We wanted to be able to provide an option for them that allowed them to keep their babies, break the cycle, and have families. So we've built 3 cottages in Athens. We hope to get open our doors in the next month or so. And, good Lord willing, we're going to eventually build 12 out there.
Wow.
Hopefully we'll have the doors open to be serving some moms soon.
Was this something that was a passion project for her all along, or did she identified a need, or where did it come from?
So of our 3 children, we have one that's adopted. Our third child, our second son, is adopted. So our church, and if you see him, by the way, he knows. He's from China, so you're not going to mess him up if you see hey, are you adopted? He's aware. It's okay.
The secret's out.
We celebrate it. We talk about it.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Our church had a big foster care adoption community. We were at Walkersville First Baptist. Had a big community from that. We felt a need to kind of be involved. She went to Uganda. There's a lady named Amy Washington. If you guys know about Washington Farms over in Watkinsville, at the corn maze and whatnot. Yep. So Amy lives full time in Uganda, runs a maternity home. So my wife went over on a trip with a group of girls, came back. She's like, "We've got to do this." I was like, "Well, we're probably not opening a maternity home."
Yeah.
So she was all fire and passion, and just started trying to figure out what it looked like, and just threw some time praying about it, seeking the Lord through it, trying to find ministries to be plugged into. The big missing piece was always the housing component of it. And we're very pro-life people. We love babies. We believe that God has a purpose for everybody that He creates in the womb.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we got to talking about, we had a young mom come to us who was thinking about an abortion. And she was like, "Well, I'm going to have an abortion." And our only answer to her was, "Well, don't." And she's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? I don't have any family. My boyfriend left me. I don't have any money. What am I supposed to do?" Well, I don't. No, don't. We got to try to provide solutions.
You have to back it up with something,
right? And we actually got that girl into a rental for a short time and helped stabilize that, hopefully. But just started looking around at what the options were out there, and the housing component for these young moms was the big missing piece. And so long story short, here we are. We got 3 cottages built.
That's incredible. Now, are they completed or are they under construction?
So the cottages, I would say, are 95% complete.
Okay.
There's a little bit of punch list stuff to be done on them. Athens Clarke County is working with us to get our sewage capacity out to the property.
Okay.
So they're working. They've been good to work with. Thankful for it. And hopefully within about a month, they're going to have our water and sewer turned on, and we can open the doors.
Then you can start moving some people in.
That's right.
And what's the parameter? So if somebody comes to you and let's say they're in that situation, like you just explained, maybe a young mom who's pregnant and says, hey, I don't know if I can handle this, or somebody that comes to you with small children, is there a window of when they can come in, and then do they have to move out on their own? Have you set that up to think about what's the next step?
So she's got all kinds of policies and procedures. So
Okay.
she's traveled all over the Southeast to meet with some people that do this in different places.
So there's like proof of concept somewhere that's doing this.
100%. There's some towards Atlanta. There's some down in Savannah. I think there's one in Birmingham she's been to. And essentially we bring the girls in 32, 34 weeks pregnant, somewhere along those lines if they come to us. Provide them prenatal care, make sure they get the doctor's appointments, et cetera. Allow them a safe place to be able to have their baby come home to. And then, once they get kind of through that postpartum phase of what's kind of, I guess, traditional maternity leave, 6 or 8 weeks, whatever it is. I shouldn't say that because I don't know the exact number there.
Right.
But at some point, they've got to transition into either pursuing a job, pursuing a degree of some sort, or something like that, and then paying rent on a sliding scale.
So this is a good old fashioned. It's not a handout; it's a handout. Right?
That's the
get you
plan.
On your feet.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Right.
And they've got to be bought into the vision of what the program is, and
I think that's a great part of this too. Is that not only is it satisfying a need where somebody's struggling, they're going through a hard time, and they need that little boost. But it's the infrastructure that is provided, whether it's on the educational side, the motivational side, just the mentoring side of this, to then get them on their way so that they're a contributing member of society and they're raising their kids to participate. So I love it. I think it's brilliant, and I can't wait for this to explode for you guys. I hope this turns out to be something really big.
Well, thank you.
Is the biggest unmet need outside of housing? Is there something else that you see when you're in this space now, as you're talking to these soon-to-be moms that are struggling? I mean, the housing's the obvious one, right?
Yep.
But is there other stuff that's facing them that
so many of these moms just don't know what we would consider basic life skills. I mean, they don't know how to prepare a meal, especially a healthy meal.
Sure.
They don't know what type of prenatal and postnatal stuff that the baby needs.
So the normal health care stuff.
Yeah, they don't know that that a mom nursing her baby is a normal thing.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things that we don't think about where there's a large group in our society that have kind of been left behind, and we feel like it's part of our call to kind of be a hand reaching out to help pull them back up, and to hopefully give them a platform to get on their feet and to kind of break the cycle that got them to where they're at.
Marc McMain, our guest Russ Tanner, shared the story of his wife Shelly Tanner and her role in founding Hope 139. I called it Hope 139 House. It's Hope 139. She's the executive director. It's a fantastic entity that is designed to help young, soon-to-be moms who are struggling have a place to live, get on their feet, and get on their way and contribute in life. You just had an event a few months, or really probably just a few weeks ago. How did that go?
It went good. We had our annual fundraising banquet. Actually had it out at the property. Had a big tent set up, and had about 250 people that came out to it. And we fed them, got to kind of show the cottages off and present the vision and invite people to partner with us.
That's excellent. I love seeing that people are wrapping their arms around this. And finally, on this subject here, if somebody wants to learn more about this, if they want to contribute, if you got another event coming up, how do they learn more about it?
Yes, I mean, obviously, all the typical social channels. You can look up Hope 139, Hope 139 House, and you could probably find it. We're not hard to find with that. Website is hope139house.org. There's some reworking that's going to happen on that. It was done a couple of years ago. We need to kind of
new facelift
and all that stuff. But it's coming there. But yeah, just look it up and find us. Like it was somebody who is a public-facing person, what they do for a living. I'm not hard to find. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You just Google me.
And I'll say there's a bunch of Russ Tanners. I did find you, but there's a bunch of Russ Tanners. None of them are as good-looking as you. There are some Russ Tanners out there. What else are you seeing as far as needs? And I love this. I mean, you and your wife have embarked on a journey that I think is just filling an incredible void, an incredible need, and who knows what lives you're going to change in this process. But these larger cities like Athens are facing other dilemmas as well. We've talked about the homelessness issue that is manifesting before our very eyes.
Yep.
And it's now at a point where, Russ, I'm going to call it a crisis. And if you want to see a real crisis, go to downtown Atlanta right now. It's been a while since I had been to downtown Atlanta, and especially maybe ventured off some of the bigger arteries. So I was there about 2 or 3 weeks ago, made a wrong turn, went under a bridge, and there is a mass of humanity now living under some of these bridges in downtown Atlanta. If we're not careful, this is what's going to come to Athens.
And it's already here to an extent. Even the Hope 139 stuff, this is not the fun stuff to talk about, and there's certain topics I should probably just steer clear of, but it is what it is. We had a time back before we started building, because we had the land. We actually were supposed to go before the Clark County Commission May of 2020. That wasn't a great time in the world to go before commissions.
Yeah.
So it was about a 2-year delay through all that with the COVID stuff happening. And during that time, we actually got letters from the city saying that they were going to fine us for trash on our property. And we went out there and looked, and there was a homeless camp on our property.
Oh, wow.
With like 4 or 5 tents. And we cleaned it up, and then it was back again. They were going to fine us again. And I was like, hey, y'all got to get the homeless people off of our private land. They said, yeah, we don't get them off. So they're on our land. They're dumping trash out, and we're getting fined because of it.
Yeah.
So we had to go out there and gently remove the people. I mean, you could never hardly catch them there, so we just go out there and put signs up, hey, this is going to be cleared, put up for 3 or 4 days in a row, put up for a week in a row, try to lay the tents down, and we had to kind of run people off the property, which stunk for them and for us. So I don't know the solutions to it. I hope there are some, but
well, what I'll say is this: I just don't think the solution is enabling. There's got to be some effort to address it so that that they're getting help. Those that need help, they're getting help, and those that just don't want help and just want to live on somebody else's property, that there's barriers put in place for that, because it's just not something that is sustainable. And the reason I put so much effort into this and discussing it here on the show and in other capacities is because I've been to downtown Atlanta now, and I see what the next step looks like. And Athens, look, pretty agreeable weather. You got affluency there. If the people decide to panhandle, there's money to be, panhandle. So it's just something I've observed that needs to be addressed. What's else on your radar? What else are you seeing?
Oh, man. That's a big question. I'll tell you other things that I like. How about that? Sure. That we try to plug into. So, I think that our society, we think that we're so connected now with all the social media stuff, all the online stuff, all that. Mm-hmm. We feel connected, but we're really not. That stuff is a disconnector of people.
Agreed.
Because it makes you have false relationships. You don't really know people. And I think that more and more people are isolated, and that's a huge problem for families, for businesses, for society in general. Like, when we are not made to be individual hermits. We're made to be in community with other people. So I think for men in particular that we get in this phase where we're kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to do my thing, be by myself, and I'm going to go to the house and drink a beer and watch a movie and just keep my head down. Well, we're not made for that. We're made to be around other people. So I've got a group of guys that for the last few years, we do something we call the Brisket Brotherhood, where we cook brisket, cook Boston butts, cook hogs, have men out and try to connect them, let them come out and just enjoy fellowship together.
Just community. I like that. Is that like a monthly deal that you guys do?
No, once a year, Coach.
Okay, once a year. All right, yeah.
The Brisket Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Maybe you could kick it off and do something more with it. But we like to do stuff. We love barbecue. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
We love barbecue, love cooking, love bringing people together, and just trying to create situations where people can have community and do it in a way that they can enjoy the people they're around, and obviously the food they eat.
Well received. I mean, the people enjoying this. You get
the
some
brisket,
traction? Or the event, the community.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've got my dear friend Mitch Swan, who lives right down the street, and Mitch does a weekly event that's not too different than what you're describing, and it's incredible. I went and visited him last week. He calls it the Wingman Group, and he's got 20, 25 guys that show up, and they have a supper together. They break bread. Then he does a little Bible study.
Yes, sir.
And so it's just a fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And so you're seeing that type of stuff. It's funny you say that because you're right. That is the trend with social media, is that people. It has the appearance of that you have friends and you got connections, but you really don't.
You don't.
You need that one-on-one time.
And the script shows the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and he does that a lot of times by isolating us. We're a lot easier to defeat when we're by ourselves. So, I just think a lot about how can we hook people up?
That's cool.
Hook up men who are like-minded, women who are like-minded, and let us share what's going on in our life together. Like, I'm really jacked up, man. Like, I messed up and I screw up a lot. And I need buddies in my
all
life
do.
that tell me that call me out on that, and then support me when I'm trying to fix it. So
That's all part of it. That's all part of it. You listen to the Marc McMain Show. We come back. We'll continue our conversation with Russ Tanner. Hold tight.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Ready to grow your small business and reach thousands of new customers? Say hello to Town Values Magazine, formerly MTM Shopper, proudly serving the community for 22 years. Every month, thousands of magazines are mailed directly to homes in Walton, Oconee, Barrow, Rockdale, Newton, Gwinnett, and beyond to further expand your reach. Our magazine is packed with valuable coupons and services offered, helping families save money while supporting the community they love. We specialize in local direct marketing that works, building your brand, driving sales, and connecting you with the customers who matter most. Plus, we're online at townvalues.com and on Facebook and Instagram, giving your business even more exposure in print and digital. Ready to reserve your space in the next edition? Call Liliana at 770-267-6650. Town Values Magazine. Local, trusted, powerful. Helping businesses grow and families save.
If you're looking for a caring dental office that can handle all of your dental needs, look no further. Georgia Dental Studio provides routine and emergency exams. Whether your smile needs a gentle exam, a full mouth restoration, or anything in between, they promise to provide you with exceptional care. They do extractions, root canals, crowns, implants, IV sedation, veneers, and much more. Call 770-464-3626. Georgia Dental Studio, 150 Main Street in Jersey, just a short drive from Monroe, Social Circle, Covington, Bogart, and Oxford.
These days, many think that truth is relative. You have your truth and I have mine. Speaking your truth means staying true to who you are. It may be how you feel, what you believe, or how you identify. Truth, by definition, means conforming to a fact. Two contradictory ideas can't each both be true. One may be true, one wrong. Or both may be wrong, but they can't both be true. To say so is logical nonsense. So with all the fake news and opinions flying around, how can we know what's true? At Jesus' trial, Pilate cynically asked, "What is truth?" And Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He's not claiming to be one truth, but the truth. Soon after Jesus spoke these words, he rose from the dead. That's enough to convince me that Jesus tells the truth. This is Bryant Wright, speaking right from my heart.
To subscribe to Devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
Welcome back, Marc McMain, Russ Tanner. Russ, tell me about the podcast that you do. I've learned a little bit about it, but you were sharing it in the break. Where did this come from?
What you talking about? You got to be a little bit more specific.
You do more than one podcast?
I have.
Okay.
You
do the sports podcast, right? Or the broad? Tell me. Yeah, give me the rundown.
So I've done different UGA podcasts in the past. Currently, not doing any of that. I do a little sports talk radio show on Friday mornings in Athens, cool. and then it's funny that what people pick up on and follow. And I was doing this very much on a weekly basis, but now I'm trying to do it monthly, where we go out and do barbecue reviews. And I don't have a podcast yet. We did one last year during Georgia football season with my buddy Rain, the Russ and Rain show. But now I eat barbecue. I used to do it every week. I'm trying to do it once a month now. I can just post reviews. I'm not a real critic.
I've
love
seen
barbecue.
some of your reviews. That's good. Yeah, but it is it's a massive amount of food they usually bring to you. I've seen it.
It is.
Do you guys knock out that whole thing?
Man, my wife may be listening. So no, we're very picky. I usually have people with me. I rarely eat by myself with stuff like that. So yeah, they'll bring us out a platter, and we always tear it up.
Yeah, that's got to be fun doing the reviews. That's something that we can do on this show, Chastity. We can do some reviews. They brought it.
So
they'd have to deliver it to us. We can't go do it on site with all this equipment right here.
Yeah.
I may usher y'all into the air of doing some remote, so we could go out there.
That would be kind of cool. We do have a remote set up. What are some of the good reviews you've done? So tell us about some of the secret places to go eat in Athens.
There's not a ton in Athens. I've gone all over the state, all over the Southeast.
Okay.
Yeah. So man, I love old school places. Like we're in Morgan County. I love Crows down in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Great folks. I've been doing it a long time. There's places, you start going towards Atlanta, some of the kind of high-end, what you call bougie barbecue, the Texas-style joints where they're doing brisket and high-end ribs, and I love that. But I love all – there's not many barbecue sandwiches I don't like.
Okay. So you're easy to please.
I'm very easy to please.
Where's the best ribs? Who's got the best ribs in Georgia? Because I love ribs.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or give me top three.
See, you're asking questions, though, that can't be answered, all right?
I'm putting you on the spot.
It's like chicken or the egg. There's no answer to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of places that do great ribs, like a lot of them, and so much of it's personal preference. But some of the places, like I said, I love Crows. There's a place in Savannah called Slow Fire Savannah. My friend up in Lafayette, Georgia, Robert Wardlaw's Lucky IQ, Fox Brothers in Atlanta, Owens and Hull in Atlanta, the Inked Pig up in Gainesville. There's all kinds of places in South Georgia. I mean, there's a lot of great places to go eat barbecue.
Yeah, Georgia's loaded with it, no doubt. I'm just a rib guy. I like pulled pork. I do. I'm thoroughly enjoy it.
You can join my political party.
What's that?
I'm a ribitarian.
What's the platform of ribitarian?
You got to cook real wood.
Yeah.
So no fakeness.
Okay.
Don't boil them.
Oh God, who would do that?
Exactly. People do. You'd be surprised.
Mercy.
And then, I mean that's really it. A lot of no vegetarians are in the party.
I would say that's like the first box.
That's probably the first one.
That's number one. No vegetarians.
Yeah, and I really haven't gotten much farther past that.
I've smoked a couple Boston butts myself, and I've gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah,
I just converted an old charcoal grill where I've gotten good at keeping the temperature right, and I guess I've done 5 or 6 now, and every one of it's turned out spot on.
Yeah,
but there is an art to doing that. I mean, barbecue. When you think about cooking barbecue, it's different than any other food because there's so many different ways you can arrive at the finished product.
People love to argue about what is barbecue, all right? And I think that's a dumb argument, even though I have it a lot because people like to talk to me about barbecue, which is cool.
Yeah.
But typically, if you got meat that you cook slowly over real fire, you can make barbecue. But growing up for me, like my granddaddy was a sheriff in Wrightsville, and I didn't know it was called barbecue. We just ate hogs.
Yeah.
Every 4th of July, my Uncle Rocky's a hog hunter. My Uncle Rocky would always catch a hog. And we would feed that joker out for several months back in the barn.
Wow.
And then we would come up on like July 2nd, and we would kill the hog.
Yep.
We'd clean it, scald it, and we'd cook whole hogs on a pit over coals. And it was always fun because there wasn't really an invitation to that. Everybody just showed up.
Yeah.
And my granddaddy was a sheriff back in, he was sheriff for 14 years, Dave for 17 before that. And the guys that would cook it were typically inmates from the jail. And my papa would tell them, you can either sit in the jail all weekend or you can come here and cook that hog all night. They are
partake.
and most people in his jail, they're like the town drunk, like Otis off of Andy Griffith.
Right.
So they're out there cooking. He'd let them put on regular clothes and come and cook it. So you had everybody from the town drunks coming out of jail to the mayor of Wrightsville to the loggers from down the road. And we all just came around. We cooked the hog, and then we ate it together. And it was awesome. And that was the 4th of July. So I grew up with that being my first memories of it. My other granddaddy was a butcher. His name was Ed Price. And I've actually got his cleaver right now that he bought used in the 1940s.
Wow.
And I love that stuff. I love the heritage of it, the history of it, and just the people doing things the old way together. And I think it brings people together. And I mean, what man doesn't like to build a fire and then cook meat over the fire and eat it?
Well, and it's an event. It's a whole operational event when I do it. It's something that you start at 5 or 6 in the morning and it takes the whole day. And of course, the family loves it. One of the coolest places that I've been to is south of, I think it's Tucson, Arizona. It's called Abner's, maybe Little Abner's. It's a steak place. And I was working for a company and my old boss said, hey, I want to take you to this fantastic steak place. And we get up there, and it's just like you describe. It's in the middle of nowhere. And you get there, and they have a huge fire pit outside, and they're grilling steaks over the fire pit. Yeah, I think it's Abner's. And it's been a good 25 years since I've been there. And the best part about this was when you walked in, and this was literally what happened. You walked in, and you sit down, and the lady says, do you want a ribeye or you want a strip? Right? Those are the two choices you had, ribeye or strip. And you say, well, I want a ribeye. And yes or no to the baked potato.
Yes.
And that's it.
I love that.
Those are 2 questions they ask you.
Yeah.
And then it was the best steak I've ever had in my life. Is that did I have it right? Did you find it? Or we got
I don't have the service in here. I'm not on the Wi-Fi, so it'll come through in a minute.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I'm all for that, by the way.
But it's something special, when you go there and they're cooking it right in front of you, and so I love it. I know you have to really enjoy doing those the food reviews. Any funny moments? Any unique situations that have happened out of that?
A lot that comes up because you meet so many unique people. There's a place out between here and Augusta. I think it's called Norris Barbecue. It was one of my. If I ever had one that went viral, it was probably it because like the old man who was there, like he had a homemade sling on his shoulder. The dog had an inappropriate name that he said on camera.
No,
I actually stepped on the dog and it barked and tried to bite me.
Oh no!
Like inside of the house, inside of the place you eat is just sawdust. Inside the man's barn. And it was great. So, yeah.
The barbecue was the barbecue good?
It was great. It was outstanding.
Really?
You would never know. It's called Norris Barbecue. It's down towards like Millen or somewhere like that.
So I got a question for you. So how do you handle that? Because when you're going to do these reviews, are you always trying to keep them positive? So you've seen Dave Portnoy does the pizza reviews, and if the pizza stinks, he calls it out.
I'm very positive.
Yeah, so you're not.
I'm not a critic.
If somebody gives if it's not a great pulled pork or a barbecue, you're gonna jazz it up. And say,
I always bump it.
That's good. So you're not going to have the situation where the restaurateur is going to be frustrated with you coming and do the review.
I try not to.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I probably try to go to like chain restaurants or whatever where I know it's not good, just so I can be mean on purpose. But yeah.
Oh no, that's fine. I get a kick.
You
out
don't want to know the
Portnoy.
dog's name at the place?
If as long as it doesn't break an FCC violation.
I don't think it does. Like this word's in the Bible.
Yeah.
The dog's name was Jackass.
It's just the donkey.
The donkey.
Oh, that's good.
He just kept calling his name during the review. I was like, let's cut that out.
No, that's got to be a lot of fun. I enjoy that stuff. Marc McMain visiting with Russ Tanner. There's, I always appreciate small business owners, especially those that decide to go off and venture into the restaurant world, because it is in my opinion, one of the more complex businesses that you can ever open is opening a restaurant. And barbecue's no exception to that. And it's a slow burn, it's a slow cook. It's the expenses of just buying the equipment, Russ, to set up shop.
Yeah.
The staff to run the place, and especially when you go to these places that have a large dining area, it is a fortune to just keep the lights on.
Does your cooker have a name?
My cooker?
Yeah.
You mean your
grill, your smoker?
No, I guess I got to name it.
You got to name it.
All right. Give me some ideas. Where I go with this?
Well, I mean, I've got several.
Okay, give me some options.
Well, mine's name, my number one cooker's name is JR.
Okay.
Stands for James Russell. That's my granddad's name.
Okay.
We got Old Trusty. We just sold Reuben and Charisse. And then we got one's name Can't Get Right.
Is that the name right there?
That's his name, Can't Get Right.
Can't Get Right.
It doesn't cook very well.
Well, my famous running joke in the house is, I buy the meat. I ask Liliana to prepare the Boston butt, get it all cleaned up, get the seasonings on it. And then I run it, I put it on the grill, and I have her pull it, and I have her slice it up, and then I have her clean all the dishes. And
this is not you're not a man. Come on, brother. You got to step up in this
And then when
situation.
it's done, I said, how did you like your night off of cooking?
You got to step up in this situation. No, we do it all, and it's fun. We do it the old school, slow way, real wood, real fire, all that. So,
well, next time you guys have one of those, I want to come out. I want to be
Brisket Brotherhood. It's always in like late April, early May.
It sounds like that was a spinoff of your 4th of July deal that you guys had going on with your family back in the day.
We do a big 4th of July party currently too. Can't talk about that on the air, though, because it's an illegal gathering. About 600 people with fireworks and briskets and stuff.
Breaking all kinds of rules.
All kinds of rules. But, we do all that stuff.
No, that's good stuff. What's next?
I found a little address steakhouse, by the way. Marana, Arizona?
That sounds right.
Yeah,
just south of Tucson.
I like this.
Are the reviews good?
Let's see. Yeah, 4.2 out of over 1,600 reviews. 4.2 rates pretty good.
Yeah, great place.
We're going out to this area end of this month. My wife is running a half marathon. Don't know why she's doing that, but we're going to be out that way. So
it was 25 years, but I would definitely go back. And again, I just like places like that. It's not a chain. I mean, look, Russ, how often do you get to find a place that's no longer a chain, especially that's serving steaks?
Rarely.
Especially serving steaks.
Rarely.
Yeah. It's hard to find a steak restaurant that's not some franchise model. All right, I'm going to give you the last minute before we wrap up here. What's next for you? What's on the horizon? What's on your mind?
Man, I feel very fortunate to live where I live with the people that I'm surrounded by.
Mm-hmm.
I came from a great family with great parents who are still alive. I love being from Wrightsville, Georgia. The family values, the faith, just the work ethic that it instills from being a part of a place like that is just special. And, I come up now married. We've been married for over 20 years now with 4 children. They're all involved. They're all doing all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, if you're not serving those around you and doing something for the people that you communicate with, that you live your life with, that you interact with on a daily basis, like, what are we doing? We're not here to be knots on a log. We're here to make an impact. We're here to make eternal impacts on people. If we do that in the way that people enjoy and they want to be around you, do it with honesty, integrity, there's plenty of life that is given out of that. So, man, we just want to be a part of the community. We want to love people well and, do what the Lord calls us to do.
Well, I appreciate everything that you and your wife are doing. It's a lot of fun. It sounds like you're really enjoying what you're doing as well with the food stuff. Keep us in mind. Anything pops up you want us to be a part of, you call us and we'll come.
Sounds great. Brisket Brotherhood.
Yeah. Amen.
See y'all there.
Especially the food critic thing. Hey, I would love to tag along
Would
with
you
that.
be one of those tough food critics, Chastity?
No,
Would you
no,
be
no,
like,
no.
oh,
I
this
never
is too
even
dry?
send my food back. I never complain.
So you just go ahead and take it on the chin?
Yeah.
If it's a bad meal, you're just
Yeah.
saying, hey, I'll
I mean, yeah.
I got you.
Because
Okay.
sometimes
Good.
things happen.
I like that.
Yeah, that's low maintenance. That is. That's really good. Russ, thanks for joining us. That was a lot of fun today, buddy. You listen to the Marc McMain Show. Chastity, what is on store for tomorrow?
So for tomorrow, we have Miss Kathy Hurley. And
Oconee County GOP chairwoman. Yep.
Yes, thank you. And then Steve Nabolian.
Nalbandian. Yep. He is
I
with
was
the
gonna butcher that.
American Legion out in Loganville.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for that. And then Bob Furr with Madison Trolley.
Old Bob's coming on in. He's going to be in the studio with us, right?
Yes, yes.
And then I think Jeff Hood's going to call in with a little legislative update as well.
Yes, Jeff Hood, you're right.
Yeah, Jeff's got a pulse on a lot of things that are going on.
Yes.
The listeners want to hear about as it pertains to some legislative initiatives coming out of the Gold Dome, especially ones talking about the elimination or reduction of property tax. So, folks, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow and hear about this so you can get a good understanding of what those in charge are proposing. You got to be sure this is the right stuff. Be sure this isn't just a shell game and political two-stepping. Is this really going to be a solution to give some alleviation to your property tax bill? So I'm excited to learn about what Jeff is going to be sharing with us. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. We'll be back on tomorrow at noon. Until then, stay